In April of 1934, during the initial phase of consolidating the Nazi dictatorship in Germany, Adolf Hitler, as part of his ambitious plan for rearmament, began to approach the main German industrialists and engineers, aiming to establish long-term strategic partnerships for the creation of a large and powerful modern army, an objective impossible to achieve without the German industries. And it was in this context that Hitler approached Ferdinand Porsche, at that time a very famous automotive engineer, very dedicated to the design and construction of light, compact vehicles with simple and reliable mechanics, but also very focused on his passion, represented by race cars. However, specifically in the military sector. At that time, Porsche was still completely uninvolved, exclusively focused on the civilian side, leading Hitler to personally assign him the project of the People's Car, the iconic Volkswagen, known in Germany as the KDF wagon and in Brazil as Fusca. And it was within this new military phase that Porsche received a very important mission: to develop a utility transport vehicle that was light, very simple and cheap to manufacture, and just as importantly, that had equally simple and reliable mechanics. Emerging from this order was the Type 62 project, which would later go into mass production under the designation Type 82, better known in Germany as the Kübelwagen. To reduce development and production costs, it was equipped with the same engine as the Beetle, the H4, air-cooled, with 1,131 cubic centimeters installed in the rear. Initially, Ferdinand Porsche thought of simply reinforcing the base chassis of the Beetle, but quickly concluded that it would not be enough to meet the demands of the military, who required a vehicle that, besides being very durable, was also very light, with a fully loaded weight of less than 1,200 kilograms. The first prototype, known as Type 62, was presented in November of 1938, and despite not having four-wheel drive, it proved to be very agile on difficult terrain, thus receiving authorization to proceed with its development. In September 1939, when Germany invaded Poland, starting the Second World War, the Type 62 was in the pre-production phase, with the German invasion of Poland serving as a testing ground for new developments, with the Type 82, the final version, entering mass production in February 1940 at the Volkswagen factories. This version was already so complete that, despite the significant overall advances in mechanics, the Kübelwagen did not undergo major changes, simply because they were not necessary, as the vehicle met all the demands of the armed forces from its inception. Its total length was just under 3.8 meters, a width of 1 meter and 60 centimeters, an empty weight of about 700 kilograms, and fully loaded, it weighed less than 1,200 kilograms. On the road, its maximum speed was 80 kilometers per hour, and on rough terrain, it could reach an average speed of up to 30 kilometers per hour. The distance between the floor and the ground was 30 centimeters, allowing the vehicle to travel through particularly difficult areas with great ease. It could comfortably transport 4 people, but with some maneuvering, it could carry up to 5 passengers. Ferdinand Porsche designed the vehicle with a focus not only on its mechanical performance, but also on ease of operation and production. He knew that, in case of war, the pressure on the German industry would be enormous, so he designed the Kübelwagen to be very simple to produce. O se ossia, porque se comple. Without the need for large facilities and using workers who were little or not at all specialized in standardized assembly lines, resulting in the production of almost 50,500 vehicles between 1940 and 1945, with another 2,500 having been produced for the British Army after the German surrender in the war. It served as the basis for many other German vehicles, notably the Schwimmwagen, a kind of amphibious 4x4 version of the Kübelwagen. It was extensively tested by the Western Allies, who of course compared it to the Jeep, with the Allies concluding that, except for comfort and empty weight, the Kübelwagen was inferior in all aspects. But, despite that, the vehicle was a great success in Germany, highly appreciated by the military for its extreme robustness, simplicity, and above all, mechanical reliability, even in very adverse conditions.